But I wanted to ask you what it was like facing someone who's trying to take 2/3 of your country.
Well, first of all, I think for us to speak about the border necessitates us understanding that peace, whether there's an actual value on peace and there's a price tag on peace, if you attribute a price and value on peace, then you're saying that there is a cost that you're willing to pay in order to get to peace. I believe that peace is not a price tag. Peace must be something that we continuously work towards. It must be one of those stable parts of the world, of the society in which we live in. And I approach that meeting with the clear understanding that Guyana want, first of all, peace and stability within this region. We will do everything to ensure that we enjoy peace and stability and the region enjoys peace and stability, because any destabilization of the peace and stability within the region does not only affect Guyana. It affects a region that is heavily dependent on tourism. It affects the transport and logistics. And Brazil, for example, depends heavily on transportation and logistics. They're one of the major exporter of food and other raw material. They're a major importer of fertilizer and other chemicals. So in the interest of the region and in keeping with our own thinking, our own moral compass, if I might put it that way, peace and stability is our primary concern. And also the fact that we were approaching these talks from a position of being part of an international system. That is, being in the ICJ, making it very clear that we will respect the outcome of the ICJ, and urging Venezuela to participate in the ICJ, knowing fully well that international law, as an important part of multilateralism, international law is an important part of what makes us the family of United Nations and part of the UN Charter. So we also are acutely aware that the region and most, if not all, of the international players are supporting the ICJ process, but notwithstanding this, that there are consequential issues as described that we will still have to address. At the end of the day, Guyana and Venezuela will remain neighbors. We have to work in a collaborative way for the betterment of the region. We have resources that are similar, resources that can be deployed effectively to the energy security of the region, leading to the food security of the region, and of course, addressing issues of climate change and these things are all important issues that we have to collaborate. So I did not go into the meeting looking at Maduro as someone who is trying to take away 2/3 of Guyana. I went into the meeting knowing that I'm representing the people of our country, knowing exactly where our position is, and knowing that we wanted peace and stability, and presenting the case that Guyana is going to continue along the path of the ICJ, but at the same time, we are open to dialogue on all consequential matters, and also in the pursuit of peace and stability.
As we're talking, Venezuela did agitate about the movement of a British ship in Guyana's cooperation with them, and we had cooperation with the U.S. only recently as well. Are we going to see more of that?
Well, as you know, we have been working aggressively with our international partners. I've said this openly, and we cannot close the door on our international partners. We want our international partners to be actively involved with us in building our capacity, strengthening our institutional system, sharing knowledge, sharing expertise, doing joint exercises, and not only aimed at securing our borders, but aimed at regional security. For example, the British ship did not only come to Guyana, the British ship spent time in Barbados. It was part of a regional security apparatus. And a lot of what we are doing jointly with the US, with the UK, with France, is integrated into the regional security architecture. And I think that is skillfully maneuvered in the statements as non-events, and trying to use this as an opportunity to put Guyana in a specific light within Latin America and the Caribbean. But that won't happen, because we have made it very clear that there are a number of joint initiatives that we are working on, and we will do nothing. We are not covetous. We don't seek after anybody's land. We're not the ones who want 2/3 of any land. We are going to do everything to defend what is ours, not to attack anyone for anything. So the region can rest assured. Venezuela can rest assured that none of our activities, none of our programs are aimed at Venezuela. That's totally not part of our radar. It is aimed at building our capacity to defend Guyana and defend what is ours.
After your meeting in St. Vincent, there was a declaration that was issued talking about a meeting in 3 months in Brazil. Is that going to be with you and Maduro again, or?
So that's the meeting with the leaders. So it will be Maduro and I. But before that, there will be other meetings that will take place at a technical level. We still have to iron out the modalities and so on. So I foresee a number of meetings maybe before that 3-month meeting in Brazil, where President Maduro and I will meet.
And finally, on this issue, your budget is coming up. I wanted to know if there will be an increase in budgetary funding for the defense sector.
Well, there's been active plans to step up our spending in our security sector, especially the Guyana Defense Force, not only from a hardware perspective, but also from a human resource perspective. Building technical capacity and capability, building our air wing, building our sea assets, our the maritime asset, Coast Guard assets. Those are important investments that we are making, but also critical training and other hardware equipment, cybersecurity. All of this would see, I would say, extended expenditure in security, and this is a consequence of development. I mean, I said before that as we grow, the threats are going to become more sophisticated, and the criminals are going to become more sophisticated. Not only the economy will become more sophisticated, but the type of criminals we'll have operating in the economic space of Guyana will be far more sophisticated. So we have to build the capacity. We have to invest in the technology, and definitely the budget will focus on security and the Guyana Defense Force, and also on strengthening internal systems, but importantly on building our institutional capacity, training our human resources, and advancing a holistic security architecture that is fit for purpose.